位央视新闻的网友，大家好，我是总台央视记者赵金。那我现在所在的位置就是广州的南沙湿地景区。那我今天为什么要来这里呢？可能好多观众朋友都还不知道，因为今天是2月2日。
Wetlands scenery here in Guangzhou. And why we're here today, the February 2nd actually marks the 25th World Wetlands Day, and the theme for this year is the wetlands and water. So this is the theme for this year's WWD 2021. So we will start our journey here today from Guangzhou, and of course, CGTN New Media will bring you 7 wetlands today in China to take a break with the Earth's Mother. So let's start our today's journey from Guangzhou, and you talk about actually why I control my voice. So I need to speak a little bit lower tone because right now here this is actually we're quite next to this room. And why? Because next to us, actually that's the place, the home to the migrating birds. So we don't want to really give a lot of noise to all these migrant birds. And also, of course, this is also a home for the ambitious that not really rising in other places. And also, so here we also call on to all our viewers, if you have a chance to visit this place, so please keep quiet. And look at this is do not make noise because you will interfere the staying of all these birds. And this kind of window actually is the viewing position for the viewers, for the visitors. So you look at the wetlands actually is a very favorable destination for the birds, especially the birds not quite good at swimming. So we talk about the depths of the water actually is not deep. So that's quite good for these group of birds to get food, especially in the evening or the late afternoon. You will see a large number of birds gathering here to get some food for themselves. So talk about the food. Actually, that's the wild fish and the shrimps here. And also we bring our viewers some close shots of the migrant birds. And also today we invite an expert with us to talk about what kind of the species we have here. So hello to all the viewers. My name is Wan Jun from the Guangzhou South Wetland. So talk about these places. What is famous for? So look at these places. Actually, this is the place we reserve to wheel the birds, and that is the dedicated places. So we saw you just now the close shots. Actually, they are the key 3 groups here that quite frequently see. And later on, we'll also show you the other places, but also inside the wetlands park. But actually, that will be more for the white crane or the other birds. So we talk about that for the egrets, that will be also in the other places, because right now the weather is getting warm, so these migrant birds right now is building their home. So we talk about actually it's still the winter time, so actually these birds actually make their journey from the very north to the quite south part of China, and some birds actually will make here as a stopover. So they think like this place is actually good for them to get more food and then prepare themselves to start a journey again. But for some migrant birds, they think like this is quite ideal place for them to stay, to get over the winter time, the cold time, and then prepare themselves to fly back to the north places for breeding. So talk about that, how we can tell the kind of the style of the birds. So it talk about actually the wild duck is not that easy to tell. So we talk about for the bird watching. Actually, a lot of people, when they see egret, actually they were already so excited. But actually, the egret actually a big family. So under that family, you would like to talk about from the pattern at their food, or talk about the feather colors. Actually, that also make them belong to different branches of that same family of egret.
如果有一些观众朋友可能看不清我们这个鸟类长什么样，我们就可以先看一下这个。拍到的呢就是苍鹭。
So this is the pictures, and so this is the gray heron. So it's usually to stay in the one position for 1 or 2 hours without movement, because they are waiting, or let's talk about that. Actually, they prepare in that position for hunting the food. And what we just saw, maybe this one. So we talk about this one. This is the pied avocets. So this is the avocet. Actually, we always can see them in the marshes. And also we see another bird actually with a quite long white foot. So with these very obvious features, so you can tell that this is belong to the pied avocet or the other families. So look at actually, you look at this one. The beak actually is a little bit upper shape. So it's quite easy for them to get the food in the marsh. So like the shrimp or the fishes actually will their desire food. Of course, the shape of the beak or the shape of their wings actually is decided by nature, right? And we also heard that the places we have seen some quite rare and precious birds. So we talk about that the before 1986, actually this is the Wetland. And after the growing of some the mangrove forest, and we actually right now have cultivated the whole places as a wetland, and also we found that this is a mass places traveled by these migrating birds. So a lot of birds actually consider these places as the stopovers. So this is actually the ideal places for birds to spend their wintering period here. So at the very beginning, what we found is a black-headed gull. So when we found this gull, actually that's a black-headed gull, and we actually this is the very first batch of birds we found to spend their wintering time here. So we talk about actually here, this is the rare and precious bird species that is called black-faced, the spoonbill, actually the peak number we found this year around 48. Last December, our staff actually also counted the number of the black-faced spoonbill. Actually, in one frame of picture, actually we captured 52 birds in total, and among these 52 birds, actually we also got around 48 to 49 black-faced spoonbill. Actually, we talk about this black-faced spoonbill is really precious species. And according to the Hong Kong authorities, actually around the globe, the total number just around 4,000, but at the very beginning, actually just 2,000 right now, because the people actually have been increasing their awareness of protecting these precious diseases, because at the very beginning, this is actually considered as endangered species. But right now, you can see the good news is that from the very beginning, just 2,000 black-faced spoonbill right now already increased that number to 4,000, and among that 4,000, at least around 50, let's say, actually we found here in Guangzhou. And talk about the birds. We had already 180. Actually, this 180 species we found here. That's the number we got in 2018. That's the national authorities actually help us to identify it, that we actually had around 180 kinds of birds that actually stopped here. So actually that 180 species just we got here in this Wetlands park. But in these total areas, we talk about at least 200 species of migrant birds we can find here. So we talk about that. Maybe they also have a place for them to build up their nets, right? So we talk about that later on, or the channel actually will get us travel by their nets. So we talk about actually the design of these whole places is put birds centered. So which means that look at the whole design here actually is built by bamboo, right? So we talk about this platform. This is the bird watching platform. So you look at actually the whole color actually quite integrated into the whole environment. So we talk about that the whole purpose we talk about. We put birds at the central place. So we really take ourselves in the bird's shoes, let's say, because that we think about in which way we will not bring that threat or shocking to the birds. So we talk about that right now. You look at we minimize our impact to the birds. And also look at the wine. This is the wine we have here, and that's also a really good cover for this bird watching platform. And later on we will also have that. We talk about actually this places grow a lot of the mangrove forest. So there are different kinds of the trees here. So we talk about they have the quite tall ones and also the short ones. And there actually this is one of the kind of that's the mangrove forest, and also the birds, some kinds of the birds also would like to build their nets on these kind of trees. So today actually marks the 25th World Wetlands Day. And also the same for this year.
因为这个很多游客来到这里，就是包括
is the wetland and
就是我们这个南沙湿地的水，它其实是一个
water. So we talk about wetlands. Actually, the definition of a wetland. This is actually the place, the area where water covers the soil, or is present either at or near the surface of the soil over here, or for varying periods of time during the year.
那么在涨潮跟退潮时的咸淡度都不相同。那么这种水域呢，是周边你可以看到很多鱼塘，它是比较适合养的鱼类的种类是比较丰富的。
So you can see, actually, this place is quite near to the Zhejiang River. So we talk about actually at the efflux and the reflux time.
对对，就。
Is all and different features to the water.
就摄像大哥可以给一个这个镜头，对，我们可以看一下这个水。
跟大家解释一下哈，
水好像看起来它现在不是特别的清澈，是吗？
但是我们的水质呢是经过环保有检测，是它的那个清澈度。
So you look at the water quality actually meet the national standards. So this is actually free from pollution. But you talk about why this is not transparent or this is not look that clean, not that lucid.
确实是比较浅。
对，水是很浅的，它是为了确保这个河的航道。
So we talk about the depths of water actually is not deep.
那么这个水呢，为什么不太清澈呢？下面是泥沙。
So it's around 180 centimeter.
过程当中啊，会把泥沙翻滚起来，让人看上去呢，所以我们景区每天。
So we talk about every time actually when the ships travel by, so that also actually made the mud at the bottom of this area at the river. Coming up,
那其实我们
so
现在
that
讲完
make
水
the
之
whole
后呢，
river
其实
not
我
look
们现
that
在可以有路过，大家
transparent.
在我这个左手边看到，我们这里是有一些
So we talk about the wetland is a distinctive ecosystem that is flooded by water, either permanently or seasonally.
我昨天也是听说，我们这个芦苇的功能也是有很多的，它是可以，就是除了我们可以种在这个湿地，
And we talk about the reed.
然后我们芦苇它还是会有一些其他的作用，对吧？说这
So
个。
of course, it's not only to protect the wetland.
所以我们也是会拿这个芦苇来煲凉茶，是吗？
很多工艺还可以做一些工艺品。
And this is also the ingredients for herbal teas.
不会把它再进行一个加工。
And also actually, can you think that this is also the reed also can make the handiwork? So this is also can become part of the art piece. And also actually this is also can purify the water resources. So their roots actually can absorb the metallic obstacles inside the water.
这个芦苇荡它会比较茂盛，然后它的这个生长会比较的旺盛一点。然后我们这个野生的鸟类。
So we talk about the reed marshes actually the perfect or the ideal places for wild ducks. So you always can find the wild ducks in the quite inside of these the reed marshes for breeding. I believe this actually add additional security to them, because like this is can consider as the a cover to them. So from the outside you cannot really see their webs, their nets. So we talk about the wetlands actually is considered as the quite nice food resources for all these migrant birds. And we talk about the reed marshes, and also later we will travel to the mangrove forest that can be considered as the living room for the migrant birds. So we have that contain the cafeteria for these birds, and also have the places that can be considered as their living rooms. And later on, we also prepare some playing ground for the migrant birds. So normally, actually, we will see some the bright colors popping up among all these greens. That actually is the lotus. So we always can find that really attractive bright color in June or July every year.
那么在夏季的时候呢，我们也会在荷花的丛中穿行，就左右两旁都是荷花，就像我们现在看到左右两旁
So we always traveled
这样一个情境，有一种好像在抗日战争时期的沙家浜的感觉。
In this actually is the amaze. So actually it's only the veteran.
对，前面的这个花头开得比较好。
A chief can know a captain can know exactly the way ahead. So we always travel among all these greens in the winter time, and also we will travel among the lotus in the summertime.
像那个直接竖起来的那些，这些芦苇呢，就是比较有特点的芦苇，也是我们。
And talk about the arrays here. Actually, this is also quite a different.
半径，你也可以先跟我们提前跟我们这个观众朋友介绍一下我们这个红树林。红树林它其实也是作为我们这个
actually from the three different
因为我最早听说到红树林
categories of the arrays marshes.
尤其是一些经常遭到台风的地方，它会。
So we were very soon approaching to the mangrove forest. And we talk about actually the coastal cities quite like to grow these kind of trees because that's the key job actually is to protect the whole region because they are the warriors or the defenders to protect the whole city, especially against typhoons.
这种树叫无瓣海桑，就现在可能在镜头里能够拍摄到的哈。
这个很高大的这个树，它是红树林的一种，是吗？它叫。
我们会引进这种红树呢，它是从孟加拉引进的，叫无瓣海桑。它会在比较短的时间内长得很高大。那么我们把它种在台风口的一个要冲地段。
So these trees actually we imported from Bangladesh.
到天然的屏障的。
And they always actually the very first, the front line hub to build that defending lines. So these trees actually help to break the wind and stabilize the soils.
就是抓附土壤，让水土流失不那么快。
其实我昨天也是有听景区的工作人员跟我介绍，说我们这个
And we also have another kind of the trees actually help to further strengthen the soils and build up like
高了之后呢，然后可能会把这个树根给淹没，然后再把这个树根淹没之后，我们这个气根呢，它是在这个水面上的，然后我们气根可以作为我们红树林的鼻子，然后帮我们这个红树林的呼吸的作。
And we talk about that sometimes when the surface of the water actually is much higher, covering the root of the trees. We also have that we talk about that the air root. So that air root actually flowing on the surface of the water. That actually can be considered as the nose of the trees to help the tree breathe.
放在我们红树林的边上，然后可以来起到一个防止这个水土护土护堤的作用，
就让它更容易的抓附土壤。那么台风过来的时候呢，它不容易倒，即便
So we look at this the timber pile.
但是这个木桩
That's also the like the blocking role
还有一个。
for these defining lines, so that help to protect the soils and also to protect the dam.
这个泥土流失那导致这个我们疏导这个河道的频率没有那么多。
我现在有看到那边好像会有一些这个鹭鸟，是吗？不过好像被这个树枝有一些给挡住了。
它就是要透过树间去看这些鸟就。
So that actually we always can find some birds.
那其实我们在这个
in between the greens.
无瓣海桑这个红树种， 种里面，它其实也是可以给我们这个候鸟提供一个优越的栖息环境。然后每次到了冬季的时候，这里是10万只候鸟的一个卧室。
So we talk about actually these kind of trees, the forest actually can be considered as the a living room for the migrant birds. So every year actually this provide the accommodation to around 100,000 birds. So this year actually we also have a quite warm winter here in Guangzhou, so that also bring their schedule of nesting ahead of the curve, ahead of the schedule.
那个候鸟啊，它一般我们这个区域呢，其实也是相对北方而飞回去嘛啊，它就是说明春天已经回暖了，北方开始那些冰已经化开了，开始有食物了。
So we talk about the migrant birds. A lot of birds actually for the winter time, it's their habit decided by nature. So they fly from the north to south because that in the north part it's very freezing. So we talk about the water actually already frozen. It's really hard for them to get food. So that is why they decide to fly heading to south. So we look at the south part. Actually, it's still quite warm.
要飞多长时间啊？这个路途还是好远。
推荐你去看一下，叫鸟的迁徙啊。
So we talk about actually that's the birds. A lot of them actually fly from Siberia, and we talk about it's not a really easy journey because every year for wintering, some of the birds actually lost their life along the journey.
林鸟包括有的像一些中背伯劳，一些鸟啊，就是它是在林子里面的，体型比较小啊，还有一些丝光亮鸟啊，有些这些鸟哈，可能就是要。
这个我们作为景区啊，来做这个保护湿地的。 我们在平时的这个湿地的管理工作嘛。
So this is the scenic area, but actually we always put our top of focus on how to protect the wetlands resources, and we also work and cooperate with the local authorities, especially from the administration of forestry. And also we need to think about how we can enrich the whole resources here. We talk about this is places actually is the places we provide living rooms, we provide the cafeterias as well as a playground to all these migrant birds. So we also would like to do more to these birds, and also we would like to increase the public awareness to protect these groups of birds. And also for bird watching, actually there are a lot of tips, and we talk about that everyone should keep quiet, and also please not wear the quite neon colors. So still that if you are in this kind of nature, so please lower down your voice volume. We talk about birds' nests. Actually, it's not for sleeping purpose. Actually, the bird's nest actually is the place for the baby ones. So we talk about that the incubation actually also happened at the nest. Actually, you talk about then how the birds sleep. Actually, they stand on the tree to sleep. So we talk about actually they're not really sitting or lying in the nest. The nest actually is the place for incubation or for the little ones. So actually we can see a lot of birds here. So for myself, I also need to further lower down my voice volume because actually I saw a lot of the nests on the branch of the trees, and I also can see the little ones waiting their food captured by their moms. So we talk about that you always can find that this is also a beautiful plumage color, and we talk about actually that's a breeding plumage. So this is our first lag to celebrate today's the World Wetlands Day, and this is in Guangzhou, and we will come to the second lag that's in Hangzhou. To all the viewers, if you're just tuning in with CGTN New Media, right now we come to our second leg of today's journey, and this is Xixi Wetland Park in Hangzhou. And also with us, we also have a expert, Mr. Liu Xiang. So hello to all. So today we will bring you and give you a little bit look of the Xixi National Wetland Park. So talk about this is also a city center here in Hangzhou. That's around 5 kilometers away from the Xixi Lake of Hangzhou. So we can see we too are already ready and to show our viewers a little bit glimpse of that Xixi wetland. So it's around the 15,000 square meters of this Xixi wetland, and we talk about this year actually is the 25th World Wetlands Day, and also we talk about actually a lot of areas here in Xixi wetlands actually is the places for waters. And also this year, the theme for the WWD 2021 is wetlands and water. I believe this is the places perfectly interpreted the theme of this year's World Wetlands Day. So for our viewers, if you have time, we do not recommend you visit the places to really enjoy a little bit the whole views here. And this actually is a quite special boat. Actually, that's called the Yaolu Chuan. That's the sculling boat. That's quite the featured boat here in Hangzhou. So we talk about the plum blossoms actually always to present it themselves in this time of the year. And look at there is the gate actually before that for the blocking the blood. So this is actually a man-made gate. So right now this is actually more for the decoration. Actually right now it's the function not really is needed. So we talk about actually there are a lot of the bridges. We talk about the total number actually is more than 100. So you always can see these kind of bridges along our journey. So we talk about for the people in the past days, they relied on these kind of bridge for commute or for visit different places. So we talk about actually before people really rely on the water resources, they wash their food, the rice, and also the clothes. So that is why you also can see that stairs, because the people actually bring the things, the items they needed to wash, and through that stairs they come to approach to the water resources. And right now, because the urbanization, of course, that old days will not happen again. And we talk about the people at the can really enjoy the Xixi wetland. At their balcony. So I don't know whether our viewers can see it clearly. Actually, we always can find the birds and also different kinds of the wild animals here. So we talk about actually this is the we have around more than 170 categories of the plants and more than 180 categories of animals. So we talk about this actually also another the heaven of the flora and fauna. Actually, we also did a lot of work to enrich the biodiversity. Actually, a gentleman worked here for more than 2 decades, and so he actually experienced the whole journey of development of Xixi wetlands. So in 2003, actually, we did not have the concept of national wetland park. So the national authorities actually they visited this place and conduct the on-field study. And actually this place, Xixi wetland, is the very first of its kind in China, entitled as a national wetlands park. So I can see at the 2 banks, actually all these trees actually is not really in our plan. So we just let it grow because they decided by nature already, right? So then why we not just follow the nature? We follow the law of the nature, let them grow as whatever they want in the way as they decided by themselves. So look at the trees, actually different kinds of the trees here, and they actually in the different stages of their own growing. So we actually would like to stay to the original ecology. So actually look at the original feature. Actually also we take it as part of the a civilization or the a protection endeavor here. So we look at here that all these trees actually help us to attract more species of birds, and also can find different kinds of insects. And also bamboo here, actually we also talk about that the bamboo here is not just part of the nature, actually that's also the quite favorable dishes welcomed by people here. So we talk about the bamboo shoots. Actually, that's a very appreciated ingredients of the dishes. So look at this one. This is a really big one, a giant heron. So it's really elegant. So we talk about the terrain actually help us to attract different kinds of birds. I believe these two actually from one family, and maybe they are right now prepared to celebrate the big day today. That's the World Wetlands Day. And also we talk about this place actually is also quite a nice resting places. So they can stand on this kind of platforms, and so they can rest a little bit, but also at the same time they not really lower their guard that when they find their targets, their food. It's also quite convenient, easier for them to just head to the water and get the food. So we have around a tunnel that's around 12 kilometers. So that's basically to channel the water resources from Qiantangjiang to here. So make sure actually the water actually is moving. So look at this is a dynamic water resources because the water actually is moving, is flow. So we talk about that also help to purify the water quality, and also we talk about that we also emphasize a lot on the protection work of the wetlands and also the water resources. And also actually we had the aquatic animals inside the waters, so that also help to purify the water quality. And also plant the plants like the wild rice shoots that also help to purify or to clean the water. So basically we talk about the animals, the plants, and also the artificial endeavors help to clean the water resources here. All right, we also start our second journey on land. So right now we can see that's around 20% of the plum blossoms. So we talk about the whole places actually is at the very beginning stage. So we talk about actually this is not really people, human being planted them in purpose. Actually they growed in a very ancient time onwards. So that is why we talk about we stick to the origin taste of the whole place. So we talk about at the Hangzhou Xixi wetlands, we actually provide different kinds of the scenery areas. And this place is also the experimental training base. So that base, actually the key function here is to do the monitoring work of the whole places here in the National Wetlands Park. So this can be considered as their working office. So we think about the monitoring station, actually the air quality at the PM 2.5, and also we talk about the meteorological information, and also you look at we get samples from the water. So basically this place we gather all the data here. And also look at the equipment here. That's basically is the 24/7. So basically we focus on the 9 indicators. So all these equipments actually help us to understand the whole situation going on here in the wetlands. So this is our monitoring station. And what else we have here? So you can find actually we have a lot of really advanced technologies involved here. So look at actually there are the field with all these grains. So you just talk about actually we have the grains, we also have the flowers, but there's not a quantitative standards. That is why we have this equipment to help us to monitor the whole environment. Like we have that PM 2.5 number, and also have the meteorological indicators. So we have these kind of a benchmark and also the number for us to know exactly how's going on here. So the quality of the environment, the quality of the ecological system, and also the quality of the water resources. Actually, all the equipment help us to get the information so we can know the quantitative reality of the whole places. And also from that number changing, you know actually what the places it is. Actually, right now we also improve a lot of the whole environment to create a even beautiful places here. So we can see that this is the places to test the air quality, and also these the white ones for the meteorological information. And here that's also for the communication for the signals. So we got all the information, got all the data, and we upload and transmit all this data shared with the relevant platforms and also the ministries. So for these kind of monitoring endeavors started from 2007, right, have already been 13 years. But I'll talk about the air pollution monitoring, actually already 20 years. Any key improvements? So talk about PM 2.5, that's a quite remarkable change. I believe that also give the credit to the whole Hangzhou city, because we also initiate a battle to protect our blue skies. So talk about the winter sweet or the plum. Actually, the blossom a little bit late compared to the one in Xixi Lake. So that's also because of the wetlands actually help to cooler the whole temperature here in this area by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. So we talk about because of Xixi wetlands make these places a little bit cooler compared to other places in Hangzhou. And also we talk about because of this cooler environment that make the plums blossom a little bit later compared to the other places. And we talk about the plums or the winter sweets actually just grow near the water resources, near the lake, near the river. So you can take a boat, enjoy the whole views, and also can smell and see the blooms. And also this is the balloon. Actually, that's the helium balloon. And talk about actually we just either walking on the ground or taking a boat, travel on the surface of the river. Then is there any place that we can stay in a taller places and see that bird view of the whole Xixi wetland, and also maybe at large to see Xixi wetland plus the whole view of Hangzhou. So we also built a place for this purpose. So we talk about actually for Xixi wetland. If you actually review from that a higher platform, so you can consider that the Xixi wetland actually is like a jade embedded inside of the whole Hangzhou places. And you talk about this is also a really natural assets to the whole city here in Hangzhou. So that is also because of Xixi wetlands and also help to improve the whole ecological quality here. So add additional color to the whole city. And also today actually marks the 25th, the World Wetland Day. And I look at here is also the very good opportunity to educate our young generation here. I believe Xixi wetland actually also a very good means to educate our young generation. So we actually bring our young generations to stay closer to our natural resources. So it's actually the two ways. We invite, look at our kids here to this place, and also we have a kind of classes in the schools. So they are doing here actually they are doing the testing of the waters. So they bring that bottle of water inside this equipment. So they read that bottle and you can get a number, so they know exactly the purification number of the water. So basically this help us to know exactly the quality of the water, and right now we can see the number just 0.9. So which means the lower of the number, the cleaner the water is. So we can see it's a very healthy water. So we talk about that the drinkable water actually should reach the scope of 0.3 to 3. So we talk about it actually this is a really high standard of water. So you look at the number, actually it's good to drink actually. So we talk about we can also do a comparison. So that comparison is like a drinkable water compared to the water we just got from the one just behind all these kids. So we got the water from the Xixi wetland. So I put inside this bottle. So this is actually a comparable experiment. So take a guess. Give me a number. Give me a number. I think it's look quite lucid. I believe 0.32 or 1.32 or 8, a 7, 7.33, 1.32. 3.31. Quite close, very close. So the result is 7.33. So we talk about the water quality here actually is reached the second level of the drinkable water. So just through a very simple purification actually is good to drink actually. So actually we had this kind of a quite interesting and interactive experiment with these young generation. So we talk about that the fauna, flora, the wild animals. Actually we have prepared a lot of different quite interesting topics for the young generations. I believe that's also a very good opportunity for them to observe and to watch all these birds by themselves. So we talk about the wild ducks. And also we look at the second experiment. So we always can find this kind of the testing paper. This is a pH testing paper, and we always can see this kind of the experiment in the classroom, especially for the chemistry. So this is actually a quite nice event going on here in the Xixi Wetland Park. So we have prepared more than 10 events that for free, and also invite a third party to conduct these kind of activities here in Xixi Wetland. And actually this place also considered as one of the educational base for the primary and secondary schools around China. So we have different kind of courses available here. So you look at actually the kids and also people from different cities also have the classes here. So basically they bring their classroom to Xixi Wetland. So we talk about we not only have that wetland, natural resources, and also on the other hand, we can see actually also observe that traditional culture as well as the traditional look of Hangzhou. So for local Hangzhou people, they also can actually in this park, they can do like jogging, running, do activities, or just take a walk. So this is a very nice chill place. So we talk about the Xixi Wetland, that should be a place for life, for the city. So you can see we have quite rich resources in nature as well as in culture. So this is actually bring additional color to these places. This is not like the other wetlands. For some wetlands, they only have one side of the whole picture, that they may only have that birds or the plants. But for us, actually, we would like to integrate the culture and nature together. And that is also because now the Xixi Wetland actually is located inside the central places of Hangzhou. And we talk about why we like emphasize on the culture. We talk about the farming culture actually is before it's quite prominent, the domain culture here in Hangzhou. And because of that farming culture, that actually helped attract the wild animals, the migrant birds to this place. So we talk about this not just a wetland in the city, that also the wetland belongs to the people. So that's so close to our day-to-day life, actually. So thank you so much for introducing the whole places. And this is our second leg of today here in Hangzhou. This is Xixi Wetland. This is also a national wetland park. So this is very beautiful places. And then we'll come into our third leg of today's live streaming. So to all the viewers, welcome to you with CGTN New Media. Right now we're coming to our third leg of today's live streaming, and this is the Fuzhou of Fujian province, and this is the Minjiang Wetland, and we talk about actually this is the Minjiang River. That's also the motherland of the places here in Fujian province. So the whole coverage is around 2,100 hectares. So from this angle, you can tell actually it's boundless. So this basically is a endless places. So we talk about this is also the river mouth wetlands, and also that's the converge of the freshwater and also the salt water. So this is also have the 140 kinds of the animals, and also 395 kinds of animals, and also we have around a lot of the aquatic animals, and also this is the heaven for the precious and rare birds. So later on in our live streaming, we'll also give you a close shot of all these birds. And with us today, we have Mr. Zheng. So hello to all. So see, actually you're fully equipped. So basically this is my daily necessities. So this is actually the equipment I use every day. So that's for my monitoring work. So if you talk about actually you're a journalist, I sort of can understand, but actually for us as a journalist, we're not really use these really professional ones. So give us a little bit background to our viewers. So we are at the core protection areas. So this place is actually is not available or accessible to the public. So we talk about we have the core places, the core areas. So we talk about that's the places that we found the large number of birds. That's the core protection places. So basically these places not that quite open to the public. So for the protection area divided into 3 parts, we have the core areas, and we also have the buffering places, the buffer places, and also the places for experiment. So the whole places actually before covered the 3 big villages. So we talk about this place actually to integrate the freshwater and the salt water. So how that different from other places? So we talk about the taste of the water actually is not that salty compared to the water in the sea. But we talk about actually the places where we talk about the minerals inside the water is actually quite rich. So that is why you can see this is also the lot of the migrant birds consider here as the heaven to them, because these places actually by nature provide a lot of food for them. So we talk about the fishes, crabs, and other aquatic animals actually are abundant here. So talk about the places actually you redouble your efforts in terms of protection and rehabilitation or the restoration. So before we talk about this is really a dead land. So no living things in these areas. So we spent 2 years to grow the trees. So that's also the kind of trees belong to the family of mangrove forest. And also started from last year, we are so happy to see that swans actually getting back to these places. So we talk about that also can demonstrate or prove that the whole ecosystem actually much improved. So we talk about that because of the restoration efforts and also because of the quite rich local natural resources work together to help attract the migrant birds coming back or choose these places as their new home for wintering period. And this is also kind of our office. And also you look at the small windows that also help us to watch birds. So look at here, actually we also to take photos here. So that also help us to monitoring the changes here. So actually for myself, just by naked eyes, I can already observe a lot of different kinds of animals, especially the birds. And we also have the monitoring equipment. So at the key areas that all equipped and installed with the equipment. So basically that help us to capture the pictures and also help us to get the information data here at different areas. So look at this is the from the bank area. So we can tell here, look at all these birds, they are standing in line. So you can tell actually it's quite in rich species or different kinds of birds, and also here it is frequently seen birds.
都还行。好，来我们看这3个字。
So you can see we have that family of the gulls.
恒玉类
是叫恒玉类，恒玉类这也是这边比较多的鱼类，一下子飞起来就跟云一样。
其实就是刚才我们画面上看玉类。
是，它种类。
我们来看底下这些。好，我们来看底下
So
这
we
些
talk
字。
about actually there are a lot of different kinds of birds and also some even not really can read it out in Chinese,
第3个是大
but
龟玉，
actually we not
第
really
4个也
know
还
that
好啊
names.
番石玉，第5个金框恒啊，划重点。但是我发现这些鸟类好像在我的眼里都没有什么区别。
它实际上呢，很多这个鸟类专家。
But actually from an outsider, even their names are different, but their look for me are all the same.
还有一段距离比较没办法一下子就辨认出来。
我看到这里还有东。
So actually, especially if you just show me all these names, actually, if I observe that from a quite far distance, believe me, they are, for me, it's all the same.
就是在咱们观鸟屋外侧，其实很多都能看得到，是不是？
But actually, all these birds actually is frequently seen here in these wetland here in Fujian, Fuzhou.
现在
And we also can see the oriental white stork.
反嘴鱼啊，那个
And we talk about the a little swan.
燕鸭类的，我们可以赶快走看一看。
哪里有这样的一些鸟类？我现在好像
现在这个区呢，过去实际上是鱼塘，那经过这2年我们这个退养环视完以后，现在这个变成了鸟类的天堂。
So we talk about like maybe that we can find the a little swan or the a avocet here. That's something that are quite easier for greenhands to identify.
长满了凤凰鸣场，当时我们没有能力。
So before we talk about these places, actually it's just a very dead land, and later on the local farmers actually transferred the places to the fish pond.
这个养殖，它虽然是就是不会很影响。
So they had that fish pond for commercial purpose, but that fish pond actually not really impact the whole ecological system, but still that's the human interference to the wetlands because had the human behaviors or movement. And actually we also I talked to them 2 years ago and also started our rebuilding of the wetland.
鸟类的那个生存的那个空间小的时候，它就可以到这里。你看现在这里都是那个燕鸭类鸭子。
So we talk about when they see a rising tide. Then with for the birds, they have the places for birds to stay.
我们的画面不知道
So
能
we
不能
talk
看得
about
见，
the
好像是能看得见一些的。这些都是其实
our viewers can't really see that, but for the flocks
这个都是燕鸭类的。
and the reef flocks, actually we have that places for birds to stay. And here actually it's a little bit far from us, but actually that's the wild ducks.
高达600毫米的。
So this is the superpower camera lens.
来，哦，好多。这里现在
So that's look at this. It really filled with more than 10 cans of birds.
应该是哦，这是一只
这是一只野鸭子，
野鸭子，
叫应该是斑嘴鸭。
斑嘴鸭。
So a wild duck.
就是那只。
哦，就是远处的那个。
这好多，
还 还是看不太清啊。
So that's a spot-billed duck.
哦，这是这幅图。我们单老师给一下这个相机的画面，这是一只。
So let's see whether we can bring that quite a close and high definition picture to our viewers.
是，那我们这边你看，现在我感觉就是。
And also we talk about this is a heron.
成功的是那个黑脸琵鹭啊，黑脸琵鹭，我们查过资料，就是。
So we talk about the one thing that make us really happy and make us think that our hard work really deserve, and right now we see it paid back because we see that the black faced.
全年都可以在这里发现，有几只的黑脸琵鹭，那去年呢就有10几只，就常年都在这里。现在这个最多的时候在这里。
The spots gold. So right now it's around 120. And we can find at here. That's the black-faced spoonbilled. So we talk about that this is quite a rare seen animals, because before this is also considered as the endangered animals. The total number of that black-faced spoonbill actually just around 4,000. But at here actually you find more than 100 black-faced spoonbill here. So that is also actually because of the rich resources and nice environment here in this wetland. We talk about this is actually the gas station. Think about this. So this is really the ideal stopover places for the migrant birds. So they often nest up for 1 or 2 months here and then fly back to the north part. And also here is for the reproduction as well. And also we see the wild ducks. So here we can see the wild ducks, the spot-billed duck. So we talk about here actually it look like a fish pond, but still actually we would like to give that the places of fish pond back to the wetland. So talk about that the places where the old ducks standing on. That's we talk about that's the island we constructed for the birds, because the birds need the different height of the platforms. So that's provided places for them to stay or stand. So different height of that island actually is the places for different kinds of birds. So let me try to put in plain language. So different size of the birds need different places to stay, so they need to have their own territory. And of course that design is not just coming from nowhere. Actually it's based on the knowledge and also the study provided by the experts to us. And we follow the rules to construct all these islands. But one of the principle, the primary rules we should follow is whatever we try to do or in our plan, make sure that we minimize to the most impact to the whole ecological system here in the wetland. So we give back around 2,123 mu of the land back to the wetlands. So before actually it's just around 200 mu, and actually that's the total area of fish pond. But actually we also work together with the local farms, and we give additional 200 mu of land resources to the wetland. So every month, actually, we conduct 2 times of the survey on birds, the study on birds, so that also help us to know more about the categories of the birds. So right now we are heading to another places. And this is the core areas, and as before, and also now not available to the public. So right now we are heading to the park. So we talk about the core area, so that's more for the protection purpose. So this is place that actually we make sure we have few or less the human interference to the whole places. So we make sure we have the less human movements or activities happened in this area. So right now we are heading to the park. That's the places available to the public. So we talk about that a whole system actually is transferred from a fish pond to this wetland. So actually you cannot really see the footprint of human beings actually here in these core areas. So we are this is the gate for that the whole protection area. So you can see the whole place is here. Actually, that's the protection area. So you can see that they have quite a clear the separation between the protection area and the wetland park. So you can see actually that's the quite a clear separation. So we have a park on the other side, and the places we are standing, let's say on the left-hand side, that is the protection area. So the public actually is not allowed to enter to that places. And on the right-hand side, this is the park places. So this is a place outside the protection area, and of course, as accessible to the public. And also we talk about in the park, actually you can find a lot of the activities, the human activities. So we talk about actually we can also see a quite large number of birds, and this is actually a designed picture we would like to see at the very beginning of our planning. So this is really the ideal picture. So look at all these the animals. So actually this is also the quite a famous places for the bird watchers and also the photographers.
麦鸡。
And look at here, actually, this is also a place to have a quite brief information about the frequently seen bird.
然后我们继续往前看，其实我看到现在这里面还是有非常多的鸟类，它都是一种攀援。
So we look at these birds. So of course we need to control a little bit our volume because here we're really close to the birds. So talk about even that's any sound you can tell that maybe will scare the birds. And we also talk about actually just around 20 to 30 meters away from us, we actually saw the black-faced spoonbill. So we talk about black-faced spoonbill, a world endangered species. So around the whole world, just around less than 4,000 available. So that's a quite rare and spacious bird. So it just looks like quite a blank box game for us. Let's unboxing one. Let's see what we're gonna have. So let's take a picture, like open a blind box to see what's really offered inside that box.